around. First, though, you might have thought the threat from asbestos had passed, but there's a mysterious new wave of victims. Many are young and most have no idea how they got contaminated. Tens of thousands of Australians will die. Experts are calling it potentially the worst environmental disaster in history, and any one of us could be at risk. Here's Ross Coulthard with this Sunday night investigation.
Asbestos-induced cancer is the worst industrial disaster in the world and will kill more people than Bhopal and Chernobyl. We're getting a lot more people who say, I've never been exposed, I don't know why I have this cancer. It's what you might call a new wave.
New evidence which suggests home renovations are a prime suspect in a fresh asbestos epidemic that will kill tens of thousands of Australians.
You had no reason at all to suspect that there was any danger in that house.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. It's killed our son.
Deep in Western Australia's Pilbara, we're on our way to where it all began. Ground Zero, the toxic asbestos town of Wittenoom. All the warnings about Wittenoom are very straightforward. Don't go. Now, the best advice we've got from all the experts is that if we do plan on going into the township, we should wear these coveralls and protective masks. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Governments are trying to wipe this place from the public's memory. Road signs are painted over. Most of the buildings bulldozed and buried. Power and water cut. Mountains of blue asbestos tailings blow across what was once a town of 20,000.
Well, we're currently driving up what looks like one of the main streets of Wittenoom. Most of the houses have been taken away. It's a very spooky place. You can tell it used to be a bustling community, but all too many of the people that lived and worked here died in the most horrific of circumstances. This is the location of one of the world's worst environmental health disasters. Perth's 1,000 kilometres that way, the East Coast cities are 2,000 kilometres that way. But if you think that the threat from asbestos is confined to remote places like this, think again.
The deadly asbestos dug out of the ground here half a century ago is killing afresh today.
It's a massacre, and it's an ongoing massacre.
The unwitting victims of this growing new wave of asbestos deaths are getting younger.
They couldn't believe what they were actually finding. They just couldn't connect that someone so young could have what they were finding.
Because we all associate asbestos disease with the elderly, don't we?
That's it. And he was 24.
Julie and Don Sager's son Adam was 18 months old when they renovated their first home in Townsville. Like many homes built before 1990, it was clad with asbestos sheeting inside and out, and little Adam played in the dust as they sanded and sawed the sheets.
He was walking under where we were sanding. Someone would be on a ladder.
Was he getting covered with dust?
Yeah. He had dust on him. We all had dust on us. He was as happy in his new home, sweeping up, helping, laughing, joking, giggling, just being a little boy.
And all the while?
Just waiting to kill him.
The incurable asbestos cancer, mesothelioma, can take between 20 and 50 years to be diagnosed. Adam was 24, an athlete, a martial arts champion, when he went to the doctor with stomach pains. Little did Julie and Don realise their DIY renovations had contaminated their child. 22 years later, Adam learned he had mesothelioma.
And do you tell your son that he has terminal cancer?
Adam died 6 months after being diagnosed.
My immediate feeling was it's a parent's job to keep your children safe. And I felt we hadn't done that.
You realise you had no reason at all to suspect that there was any danger in that house, don't you?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. It's killed our son.
Adam is one of the casualties in a fresh asbestos epidemic.
Initially, the cases we saw had worked at places like Wittenoom, and they knew they'd worked with the blue asbestos. And then we saw people like plumbers and carpenters who'd cut it downstream from Wittenoom. But now we're seeing a lot more of the so-called incidental exposure. We often can't identify any period where they were actually exposed to asbestos.
Dr. Bruce Robinson is a world authority on asbestos disease. He's developed the first blood test for high-risk patients that allows earlier detection of mesothelioma. Why does asbestos kill?
Asbestos, particularly blue asbestos, which is the most dangerous, penetrates the lungs and the cells like a spear, and in the process causes damage to the DNA. And over a period of many decades, that damage can become cancer. One fibre is the one that triggers just the changes in your DNA that cause cancer.
Asbestos products are so common, all Australians have at least 1 million fibres in our lungs. So where's that asbestos coming from?
Asbestos has been used in Australia for thousands of uses, thousands and thousands, and people say, I've never been exposed to asbestos, but it's been used in so many places that incidental exposure is common.
We get calls daily of people that they're renovating a home, renovating a bathroom, and their husband has cut into an asbestos cement sheet, and the wife will ring us and say, look, is he going to die?
Kevin O'Hare runs an asbestos testing laboratory. He despairs that too many Australians have a she'll-be-right attitude about asbestos in their homes. Do you think Australians understand just how much asbestos is still out there?
No, not in any way.
There's precious little research available here in Australia which allows the experts to say for sure just how dangerous it is to drill, cut or sand asbestos products. So we've commissioned Queensland laboratories to do some tests inside this enclosure on some typical home renovation scenarios. Now, we caution that what we're about to do would normally be illegal, but we've been given special permission to do what are the first scientific tests of their type here in Australia. We've built an airtight, pressurised chamber, and a qualified asbestos removalist will cut the sheets. These are high-level precautions against an asbestos danger that home renovators are unwittingly facing every day.